The soul always knows what to do to heal itself. The challenge is to silence the mind. Caroline Miss, welcome, chosen ones. Today I invite you into a conversation that is not for everyone. This is a sacred dialogue meant only for those who walk the narrow path, those who feel the divine pull toward a higher purpose. If you're here, you've been called, not by chance, but by divine alignment. For those who stay, this message will change your life. But let me be clear from the start, this is not an easy truth to hear. It's a truth that demands courage, self-reflection, and an unwavering commitment to your spiritual growth. If you're not ready for that level of accountability, this video isn't for you. To everyone else, I urge you, watch until the end. True chosen ones will know the importance of seeing this journey through. The topic we're about to explore is one of the most misunderstood and taboo subjects in spiritual circles: masturbation and how it hinders your spiritual advancements. Yes, you heard me right. This habit, often dismissed as harmless, is silently draining your energy, dimming your light, and holding you back from fulfilling something you already know deep in your soul. You are not ordinary. You're not here to blend in or live a life dictated by societal norms. As a chosen one, your calling is divine, your path is extraordinary, and your responsibilities are immense. You are here to be a light in the darkness, a guide for others, and a vessel for higher consciousness. But to step into your full power, you must first confront the habits and patterns that are anchoring you to lower vibrations. You see, the path of the chosen is not paved with comfort or indulgence. It's a path of discipline, surrender, and profound self-awareness. And this is where masturbation, the so-called private indulgence, becomes a stumbling block. Society tells you it's natural, normal, even healthy. But society does not walk your path. Society does not bear the weight of your calling. Society, my dear chosen ones, is asleep. To understand why masturbation is a hindrance, we must first explore what it means to be chosen. To be chosen is to be attuned to the unseen realms, to have a connection with the divine that others may not yet perceive. It's to carry a spiritual responsibility, a sacred contract to grow, to heal, and to lead. But this contract requires you to be vigilant about where and how you direct your energy. Sexual energy, my dear ones, is your most potent life force. It is the fuel for your creativity, your intuition, your ability to manifest, and your connection to the divine. When misused, it becomes a drain, leaving you fragmented, unfocused, and disconnected from your higher self. Here's the truth you won't hear in mainstream conversations. Masturbation may seem like a harmless act, but for the chosen ones, it is a subtle act of self-sabotage. It keeps you tethered to the physical realm, cycling in patterns of instant gratification and self-indulgence. It dims your spiritual clarity, disrupts your energetic balance, and prevents your sacred energy from rising to its highest potential. I know some of you may be feeling resistance to these words. You may be tempted to dismiss this message as outdated or overly rigid, but ask yourself this: is my life where I want it to be spiritually? Do I feel fully aligned with my higher purpose? If the answer is no, then perhaps it's time to examine the habits you've been told are harmless. As chosen ones, you are meant to be masters of your energy, not slaves to your impulses. The greatest spiritual teachers throughout history, Jesus, Buddha, and countless sages, emphasize the importance of mastery over the self. This mastery begins with your thoughts, your actions, and yes, even your sexual energy. They understood what we must now reclaim: that sexual energy, when conserved and transmuted, becomes a force for divine creation. But when squandered, it becomes a source of stagnation and spiritual decay. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your soul as a garden. Each day you are given a limited amount of water to nourish this garden. When you indulge in masturbation, it's like pouring that precious water into barren soil. Nothing grows, nothing flourishes. The plants of your creativity, intuition, and spiritual insight begin to wither. But when you conserve and redirect that water, your garden thrives. It blooms with divine inspiration, clarity, and purpose. Chosen ones, this is why this conversation is vital. You are here to awaken your dormant power, to rise above the distractions and illusions of this world, and to embody the light of your higher self. But to do so, you must first take an honest look at the ways you are leaking your sacred energy. Today's message is not about judgment. It's about liberation. It's about equipping you with the wisdom to break free from habits that no longer serve you and step fully into your divine potential. You are not alone in this journey. Many of us have faced the same challenges, the same struggles, but we chose to rise. And now, I am here to remind you that you too have that power within you. Stay with me, chosen ones. What I will share with you in this video has the power to transform your life. We will dive deep into the spiritual, emotional, and energetic impacts of masturbation and how breaking free from its grip can unlock levels of clarity, power, and divine connection you never thought possible. Together, we will uncover the truth that has been hidden in plain sight and take the first steps toward reclaiming your sacred energy. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready to ascend to a higher plane of existence. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and prepare to receive the wisdom that awaits. The time has come to step into your power. Let's begin. Why masturbation is a hindrance to spiritual advancement. Chosen ones, let us address one of the most misunderstood aspects of your spiritual journey, the hidden impact of masturbation. This is not an easy topic to confront, but it is vital for your spiritual advancement. If you are truly committed to your divine path, you must be willing to examine the ways in which this habit subtly, yet profoundly, hinders your progress. Society may tell you that masturbation is natural, normal, and harmless. But as a chosen one, your path is not dictated by societal norms. Your journey is guided by the principles of higher consciousness and divine alignment. Masturbation, while often dismissed as trivial, is a significant barrier to unlocking your full potential. The energetic cost of masturbation. Sexual energy is the most potent force within your being. It is the wellspring of creativity, vitality, and spiritual power. For the chosen ones, this energy is not just biological, it is sacred. It fuels your ability to connect with divine, to create, and to manifest your higher purpose. When you engage in masturbation, you are depleting this sacred energy. It is as if you are drawing from a limited reservoir without replenishing it. Over time, this drain leaves you feeling spiritually exhausted, disconnected, and unable to access the higher realms of consciousness. Masturbation takes what could have been used for spiritual growth and expends it on fleeting physical gratification. Imagine your spiritual energy as a river that flows through you, nourishing every aspect of your being. When you masturbate, it is like diverting that river into a barren desert. The energy that was meant to elevate your spirit and empower your mission is instead wasted, leaving you dry and unfulfilled. Lower chakra, stagnation. Your sexual energy resides in the lower chakras, particularly the root and sacral chakras. These energy centers are essential for grounding and physical survival, but they are not the destination for your spiritual energy. For the chosen ones, the journey involves raising this energy to higher chakras, toward the heart, the third eye, and the crown. When you masturbate, your energy becomes trapped in these lower chakras. This stagnation prevents the upward flow of energy that is necessary for spiritual awakening and enlightenment. It keeps you anchored to physical desires and distracts you from the higher calling of your soul. The practice of masturbation reinforces a focus on the physical and material aspects of existence. It feeds into patterns of instant gratification and indulgence, which are directly opposed to the discipline and self-mastery required for spiritual growth. Instead of ascending, your energy is repeatedly drawn downward, keeping you tethered to the earthly realm, the pattern of energy leakage. Each time you masturbate, you are engaging in a subtle form of energy leakage. This is not merely a physical act. It is an energetic transaction that leaves you depleted. Your sexual energy, which should be conserved and transmuted for creative or spiritual purposes, is instead dissipated. This energy leakage has long-term effects on your ability to focus, meditate, and connect with your higher self. It creates an invisible barrier between you and the divine, dulling your intuition and clarity. The vibrant spiritual energy that once flowed freely within you becomes fragmented, leaving you feeling scattered and disconnected. As chosen ones, your mission requires you to be fully present, fully aligned, and fully empowered. Energy leakage caused by masturbation weakens your ability to fulfill this mission. It dims your light, making it harder for you to lead, guide, and inspire others. The emotional toll. Masturbation does not just affect your energy, it also takes a toll on your emotional well-being. For many, this habit is followed by feelings of shame, guilt, or self-condemnation. These emotions create energetic blockages that further hinder your spiritual progress. They lower your vibrational frequency, making it more difficult to access higher states of consciousness. Over time, this cycle of indulgence and regret can erode your self-esteem and weaken your resolve. It traps you in a loop of dependency, where you seek comfort in the very act that is causing your discomfort. This emotional turbulence distracts you from your spiritual practices and keeps you from moving forward on your path. Disconnection from divine creativity. Sexual energy is inherently creative. It is the force behind not only procreation, but also innovation, inspiration, and spiritual breakthroughs. When you conserve and erect this energy, it becomes a powerful tool for creation in all areas of your life. It fuels your artistic endeavors, your problem-solving abilities, and your connection to the divine. Masturbation, however, represents the misuse of this creative force. Instead of channeling your sexual energy into meaningful pursuits, you expend it on temporary sensations. This misuse leaves you feeling unfulfilled because your soul longs to create, to expand, to express itself in ways that align with your higher purpose. The chosen ones are here to bring light into the world, to manifest divine will through their unique gifts. But when your energy is repeatedly drained through masturbation, you are left without the fuel needed to fulfill this sacred role. You may find yourself feeling uninspired, unmotivated, or stuck in a cycle of stagnation, a barrier to divine connection. Masturbation not only depletes your energy and creativity, but also creates a barrier between you and the divine. As a chosen one, your ability to hear divine guidance, to receive intuitive insights, and to feel connected to the source of all creation is paramount. This connection requires a high vibrational frequency, one that is disrupted by habits like masturbation. Each indulgence lowers your frequency, making it harder for you to access the subtle energies of the spiritual realms. You may find it more difficult to meditate, to pray, or to experience moments of divine inspiration. This disconnection can leave you feeling isolated, as though the divine presence you once felt so strongly has grown distant. The truth is, the divine has not moved away. You have. Each act of self-indulgence creates a small gap between you and the source of your power. But the good news is that this gap can be bridged. By choosing to conserve and redirect your energy, you can restore your connection to the divine and reclaim your spiritual vitality. The need for discipline. The path of the chosen ones is not an easy one. It requires discipline, self-awareness, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Masturbation, while normalized by society, is a habit that keeps you anchored to lower vibrations and prevents you from ascending to your highest potential. Discipline is not about denying yourself joy. It is about choosing the joy that aligns with your soul. It is about recognizing the temporary nature of physical pleasure and prioritizing the eternal fulfillment of spiritual growth. By mastering your impulses, you take control of your energy and direct it toward the divine purpose you were called to fulfill. Chosen ones. This is not about judgment or shame. It is about liberation. It is about breaking free from the chains of habits that no longer serve you and stepping fully into your power. You are not ordinary, and your path is not ordinary. It is a path of greatness, of service, and of divine alignment. Psychological and emotional impacts of masturbation on the chosen ones. Chosen ones, to fully embrace your spiritual mission, you must first understand how your habits shape not only your energy, but also your mind and emotions. Masturbation, often trivialized as a simple bodily function, has profound psychological and emotional consequences. Where, for those walking the higher path, this habit creates obstacles that hinder clarity, confidence, and emotional stability. Let's explore these impacts and how they subtly yet significantly affect your journey. The addiction to instant gratification. Masturbation reinforces a pattern of seeking instant gratification. This act provides a quick surge of pleasure, but it conditions the mind to crave short-term rewards rather than pursuing long-term fulfillment. Over time, this undermines the discipline and focus needed for spiritual advancement. As a chosen one, your path is not about immediate satisfaction, but about cultivating patience and perseverance. Spiritual growth requires you to delay gratification, to trust the process, and to stay committed even when the results are not immediately visible. Masturbation disrupts this mindset, making it harder for you to endure discomfort or resist the temptation in other areas of life. This reliance on quick pleasure can spill over into your daily habits, causing procrastination, lack of focus, and difficulty in maintaining consistency in your spiritual practices. Meditation, prayer, or self-reflection may feel less engaging because your mind has been trained to seek instant rewards rather than the lasting peace that comes from spiritual alignment, the shame spiral. For many, masturbation is accompanied by feelings of guilt and shame. These emotions often arise after the act, leaving a lingering sense of self-condemnation. This is especially true for the chosen ones, who are acutely aware of their spiritual responsibilities. The knowledge that you have diverted your sacred energy into fleeting pleasure can weigh heavily on your conscience. This shame creates a vicious cycle. You may resolve to stop, only to give in again, and each time the guilt grows stronger. Over time, this spiral erodes your self-esteem and creates internal conflict. You may begin to doubt your ability to overcome challenges, to maintain discipline, or even to fulfill your spiritual mission. These doubts weaken your sense of purpose and leave you feeling disconnected from your higher self. As chosen ones, you are called to embody self-compassion and forgiveness. But shame makes this difficult. It traps you in a lower emotional state, blocking the flow of love and light that is essential for spiritual growth. Breaking free from this cycle requires not only addressing the habit itself, but also cultivating a mindset of self-acceptance and accountability, emotional instability, and energetic fluctuations. Masturbation has a direct impact on your emotional stability. The temporary high it provides is often followed by a crash, leaving you feeling drained, irritable, or unmotivated. This roller coaster of emotions disrupts your ability to maintain a steady, high vibrational state. For the chosen ones, emotional stability is crucial. Your ability to connect with the divine, to serve others, and to manifest your purpose depends on maintaining a balanced and harmonious emotional state. Masturbation creates fluctuations that make it harder to achieve this balance. You may find yourself feeling scattered, unfocused, or overwhelmed, as if your inner equilibrium has been thrown off. This instability also affects your relationships. When you are emotionally unbalanced, it becomes harder to communicate effectively, to empathize with others, and to build meaningful connections. The chosen ones are meant to be sources of stability and guidance for those around them. But masturbation weakens your ability to fulfill this role. Reduced mental clarity and intuition. Masturbation clouds the mind. The depletion of energy it causes affects not only your body, but also your mental clarity and spiritual perception. You may find it harder to concentrate, to meditate, or to access intuitive insights. This mental fog is particularly detrimental for the chosen ones, who rely on their intuition to navigate their divine mission. Intuition is a subtle yet powerful guide, but it requires a clear and focused mind to hear its whispers. Masturbation creates noise in your mental and energetic fields, making it harder to discern divine guidance. You may feel disconnected from your higher self, as if a veil has been drawn over your inner wisdom. This lack of clarity can lead to feelings of confusion, doubt, or even despair. You may question your purpose, your path, or your ability to fulfill your mission. These doubts are not a reflection of your true potential, but rather the result of an energy imbalance caused by the habit. The cycle of dependency, masturbation, often becomes a coping mechanism for stress, loneliness, or emotional discomfort. While it may provide temporary relief, it does not address the root cause of these feelings. Instead, it creates a cycle of dependency, where you turn to the habit whenever you feel overwhelmed. This dependency prevents you from developing healthier ways to cope with challenges. It numbs your emotions rather than allowing you to process and release them. Over time, this avoidance builds up unresolved emotional energy, creating blockages that hinder your growth. As chosen ones, you are called to face your emotions with courage and honesty. Avoidance, whether through masturbation or other distractions, keeps you from the deep healing and transformation that your soul seeks. Breaking free from this cycle requires learning to sit with discomfort, to embrace vulnerability, and to trust that healing comes from within. Erosion of self-worth. One of the most insidious effects of masturbation is its impact on your self-worth. Each time you indulge, you may feel as though you are betraying your higher self, your divine calling. This sense of betrayal can chip away at your confidence and your belief in your ability to rise above challenges. Self-worth is the foundation of your spiritual journey. Without it, it becomes difficult to trust yourself, to take bold steps, or to fully embody your role as a chosen one. Masturbation undermines this foundation, leaving you feeling small, unworthy, or incapable of fulfilling your mission. Rebuilding self-worth begins with recognizing your inherent value as a divine being. It requires affirming that you are not defined by your habits, but by your commitment to growth. By choosing to release the habit of masturbation, you send a powerful message to yourself and to the universe that you are worthy of your calling, of your purpose, and of the divine love that flows through you. The path to emotional liberation. Understanding the psychological and emotional impacts of masturbation is the first step toward liberation. This habit does not define you, and it does not have to control you. As a chosen one, you have the strength and the wisdom to break free from its grip. Begin by cultivating self-awareness. Notice the triggers that lead you to masturbate and the emotions you are trying to avoid. Replace this habit with practices that nourish your soul: meditation, journaling, breathwork, or acts of service. These practices not only help you conserve your energy, but also bring you closer to your higher self. Remember, this journey is not about perfection, but progress. Each step you take away from this habit and toward alignment with your divine purpose is a victory. Be patient with yourself, forgive your setbacks, and trust that you are capable of transformation. The hidden forces behind masturbation. A spiritual perspective. Chosen ones, let us pull back the veil and examine what lies beneath the surface of this seemingly personal and private act. Masturbation is not just a physical habit. It is an intricate interplay of energies, influences, and unseen forces that work to keep you bound to the lower realms of existence. To truly understand its impact, we must approach this topic from a spiritual perspective and recognize the hidden forces that perpetuate this cycle. Masturbation as an energetic distraction. Sexual energy is a divine gift. It is the creative force that fuels not only the physical world, but also the spiritual dimensions. For the chosen ones, this energy is sacred, meant to be conserved, transmuted, and directed toward higher purposes. However, masturbation hijacks this energy, diverting it into fleeting sensations rather than transformative growth. From a spiritual lens, this act serves as a distraction. It keeps your focus tethered to the material world and your lower desires, pulling your awareness away from higher realms.